Welcome back to Meshmen Studio and the Maya channel live stream. Yeah, so we're gonna kick off today here with gonna take a look at the Renderman displacement. So the last time I set up this asset without displacement, so now we're gonna incorporate whatever I exported the last time. So yeah, so yeah, so I welcome anyone that's around here today to my live stream to contribute with questions and answers. It's gonna be a Q&A at the end, so we have a few questions since the last time. And yeah, so sound is great in the chat, it says so. So today's coffee is yet again a this is the Jamaican Blue Mountain again. This is my favorite. It's very expensive though, so rare occasions. So before we kick off, I wanna say to anyone new here at my channel, consider subscribing and hit the bell notification, because then you will get notified whenever I go live. So now we have that taken care of. Here's one for you. Cheers. Really good coffee. So if you wanna take one yourself, go make it, because it's gonna be quite a long one, maybe around 2 hours again. Sunday is the long ones on my live streams. So yeah, let's dive into it and see what we have here. So here's a few renders. So I hooked up a basic displacement here. Just gonna take a look. So right off the bat, if I zoom in here, yes, we have displacement. Maybe I have to do something about this to I definitely need to add dirt into crevices, but I also want larger specific breakup, maybe vary the specular response, some of those rubber stuff there. So let's take a look. So we do have displacement going here. You can see the scratch is scratched a bit there. Let's take something else. Here's another one. So I guess I have to do something. It looks a little funky sometimes here. But in general, it kind of is as I expected, I guess. The actual displacement here. Here's another render. So yeah, hold on. I'm just gonna go and fix something in the background here. It's a little warm, so I'm gonna open up the door here. Hold on. Yeah, I'm back. Need some air. And so we have a few renders here. I render it. So I'm gonna reconnect my displacement again, so you can see how you set up a displacement in Renderman. So let's do that. Here's one. I think it was an IPR. This is when I started to hook it up. I had the really high settings here. So let's dive into this now. Oops, I installed some new extension pack there. So this is what I added. So I can re-add this again here. So let's take it away now and redo this. If I scrap all my displacements. So let's take this. So in Renderman you have this Renderman displacement. So if I just hook this up, the displacement here, and take my out color to the displacement shader, to the shading group there. So if you look at the shading group, it has displacement there. So what I usually do when I set up a displacement in Renderman, I use a layered, because you never know if you want to layer some effects later on. So we have the displacement pattern, and I use the displacement scalar layer here. So I hooked up the result flow to the Disp scalar there. And then I take my displace transform. So this is to tell Renderman in what range this displacement was painted in. So I painted it like based around 50% gray, if you remember that since last time. And then we need a texture read node, Pixar texture, to read my txmaked file. So let's browse, and see, I had it in my Mari directory. And the text file. So I have converted all my files into text. So that's the Renderman map material. So I hook it up into the Disp scalar here, and then we have to write something into the actual read node. And when we have this 1001, that's the first tile, we want to write underscore map ID underscore with capitals, the Atlas style Mari. So now we should have a displacement. So, and also I did a setting here under the advanced. I ticked the dice watertight. So sometimes if you have you can get seams into your displacement if you don't have that ticked. So usually when you have a multi-UDIM character like this, or an asset, this one produced by the result, I'm not exactly sure what it does. I think it just tries to keep the asset kind of watertight, as it says. Who knows, but it looks better. So let's take a IPR resolution and put it to something smaller now and see what it does. I got some error here. I'm not sure what it... Oh, or it was... Let's see if it works. Maybe it was one of those crazy warnings that doesn't matter. Let's make this a smaller one. Oops. So yeah, if people are here in the chat, just say hello. Let's write something here. Should work. Okay, so we have a render going, and I think so now it's set to 1. It's probably too big of a displacement. Let's go somewhere where we can see it. So let's take this, and sometimes IPR and displacement is not the best combo. So if I now, let's close my hypershader. If I render it with an offline render, see what happens. So we want this. So yeah, now I know what happened. So the displacement scalar layer, that's you can have what is it, 4 or 5 layers. So I connect the displacement to the bottom, the base layer. Or actually I can connect it to that one instead. So by default it has layer 2 enabled, so it just overrid. So we take this one and now it should render with displacement. Let's see again, it's probably so let's set this to gain to 0.2 or something on that layer and see what happens. Let's fire up an IPR again. So what I will do later now is to go back into more again and just start to paint again. So I want to take some time and take a look at for example, the tires and the dirt around the tires and add stuff. And maybe I also want to start to introduce kind of like on the actual dirt, I want to introduce oil stains where it's like, for example, on that pneumatic arm or stuff, it can be like oil that's been dripping and oil smudges. So that needs another kind of specular response and also the reflectivity. So let's actually render this with a regular rendering there. So it's not gonna because IPR kind of sometimes the IPR doesn't really display the displacement properly, especially when you have a small, let's see, it takes a while for it to render the first buckets, then it's gonna be better visually when the first pass of the really grainy stuff is gone away. Yeah, so we do have a displacement here again. So yeah, let's dive into more now. Let's see. So later on I will have a Q&A. There's a few questions since the last live stream, so that's gonna be towards the end. So let's close this. And yeah, it's gonna be interesting because I just installed a new version of the extension pack beta. So I haven't tried it, so I hope it's not gonna make any trouble for me. So let's close this, save. And there we go. So this is where I left off. Let's see what we want to do. So Tigran, is in the chat. Hello, nice to have you here. I'm fine. Starting up here. So I guess there's some difference here in the new extension pack because it told me to upgrade my nodes. So let's see. Hope it's nothing. So let's see. This is where I left off. It's kind of what we would expect. So yeah, when I add stuff around the dirt on this, it needs some serious breakup onto the tires there. They look way too clean. So let's start to work on that. Dirt mask. Let's see here. So I guess let's see what we have on the dirt mask. Yeah. The tires. They need some loving. I guess. So let's see what we have. I wanna put stuff into the grooves of the rubber, so I accentuate. So I'm gonna take that from the dirt or the bump. So I think I started to do it, but I think I just have to be more forceful here. Let's see. Let's take this from the beginning. I just want to familiarize myself with the dirt mask again. And then we add something here. Some extra there. Let's see. That's the general stuff. Then we have some painted stuff going on there. This is where I remove. And then we add stuff. So I guess we're gonna add stuff to this one, but I also want to hijack stuff from my rubber material here. So and let's see which one we have. So this one I will probably use. Yeah. And this one comes from so let's see, it's somewhere else in the chain, so let's go to jump to radio node input. Okay, it's this one. So this was before I started to set up my yeah. Can I use the mol 3 here? Okay, so I'm gonna set up transmitters now, because this is, before I started to do this, I didn't have the transmitter node, so it's gonna test that. So radio transmitter. And let's name this something clever. Rubber dirt A. let's rename them so I have them all exposed. And let's name this to C. Rubber well, let's go back to my dirt mask. So let's add some to the tires here now. Oh, I need also a mask for my tires. So ISO, where is my tire? Rubber. Gonna do the same here. I'm gonna do myself a transmitter now. So I'm gonna name this ISO rubber. So whenever I need my rubber mask, I can just make a radio node and connect to this. ISO rubber. Now let's go back to dirt mask. So we're gonna set it up here now. Let's name it to something. Add rubber. Okay, so let's take that radio node again and connect to transmitter. So I want the ISO rubber first, my mask. Gonna hook that up into the mask here. So it's gonna be, nothing's gonna happen at the moment. And let's take another radio node now. So now I want to access one of those 3 patterns I had down in the rubber section. So let's connect, can copy and paste this 3 times. So I have 3 radio nodes, can hook them up to those 3 patterns and see which one I want to use. So connect to transmitter, rubber dirt A, and that's gonna connect to, let's see, that. I might use that to add as a general. This one we need to connect to transmitter, rubber P. This one to rubber C. So now we should have 2 different. So this one I'm gonna invert first. Let's make a brightness lookup and invert that. I can tune the input of that. Okay, so it's gonna, we'll probably layer this. I'm gonna make a more complex mask down here somewhere. And let's see this one. So this one's gonna do the same. And brightness lookup. So also I'm gonna temporarily turn off the color management because I want to see the true linear value when I do the masks here. Let's see. So let's merge those together. Screen. So this one I will probably crunch a bit here now. Just take the sum of the values here and there, like it's in the lower points. And that mask there, let's like make a backdrop so I see what's going with what. Over. Okay, so there we have something, so this will probably get screened as well. Let's see. I want to really crunch this. Okay, so now we have something that's gonna be like generally in some of the crevices there. Might tweak this even further. Okay, I'm gonna go to my shader and turn off the bump now because it's gonna be a little heavy to have the bump trying to preview. Let's clear the bump temporarily. I have to imagine this without, it's gonna be much easier. So we had I had pre-baked stuff here, but if I look here now, it's gonna be visually a bit different there. In the live one, so yeah. We can start to see something there. Let's go back to the dirt mask and see what we can do about. And also I might have to punch the albedo value on the tires for the dirt there to really make it pop against the gray rubber. But yeah, we can see. Just gonna go here and see what we can do. Let's see. Do I have a... Oh, it's doing something. If I disconnect this, just gonna see here. Do I have a bake somewhere? Should be something more happening there. Let's see. This calls for an investigation. So it's definitely there. Maybe it's just the dirt color that's kind of muted. Let's look at what we have. Yeah, it's kind of the dirt color needs an overhaul there, definitely. Like it's yeah, the albedo of the dirt there is kind of the same as the rubber essentially. So I will probably go in now and paint onto that. And also I'm gonna start now to work on the transmitter stuff here. So you see here, back when I started to do this, I didn't have this transmitter workflow, and I want to have this new transmitter because it's easier to name it and share it. So I'm just gonna redefine the transmitter for the dirt mask. So it's gonna be over here. Oh, yeah, I already had that one. That's good. So let's go back to my color out here. I can just hook it up here. Let's name this to connected transmitter dirt mask. Should be the same, but this one is declared. It doesn't come from my, I think I inserted a dot node to switch something back, and now it picked up the strange name there. So I'm just gonna reconnect this one. So if I want the dirt mask, it's easier to get now because I have it declared as a variable dirt mask there. So yeah. So let's take a look at my dirt color. Let's see, dirt mask. I don't think I have my dirt color declared as a bump bookmark. This is my dirt material. It's a little basic, but it used the dirt mask there. So I think I used this one in the dirt mask. Okay. So let's take an occlusion and do some kind of like a dust. I wanna increase the value in crevices to make it pop even more. So occlusion. Let's grade this. so a 1 grade plus as over with my mask. So now I wanna grade this a bit here. Might wanna do some brightness lookup in the end just to have so let's imagine that we have a just wanna play around with this a bit. Just a little more dust in the crevices there, so I have a little more value range. Like it's been out in the desert or something. It's gonna make it a little warm there. But then I need to do something serious here about the rubber. So first off, I can just take my radio node and connect it to the rubber. Connect to transmitter ISO rubber. So we wanna add this screen this. So let's see what's gonna happen here now. So we definitely have but this was too much, so now we can just dial it down with this. And then I'm gonna add stuff from this mask onto, so it's like blotches. And then I might do some scratches, so it's taken away in the end as well. So it's just both ways. So let's go back now here to my output and see what we have there. Should be more visible now in the dirt in the crevices. So yeah, it started to pick up like it's a little dust on top now. So let's go back here again and take away my operation to see the difference. And I'm gonna tidy up this a bit as well. So this is my grade there. So yeah, there's a few people here in the chat, so or in the stream, so say hello. Don't be shy. Just gonna group this so I have an idea what's gonna be what. Rubber. So if you're using node graph, hit the 1 in the chat, just type a 1, or 2 if you don't use the node graph. Okay, so if I wanna disable this node, I'll just hit the D button to see what actual. So yeah. Might take the brightness. So now I might have to, whoops. Just go full screen here so we can see a little better. So that was the difference. I added, graded the actual dirt color there on the tires to add some value. Let's add a bookmark so we can come back easier here. Jens obviously used an old graph. So yeah, I'm using your new beta. I'm not entirely sure what was new, but I haven't seen anything drastically at the moment. Rubber. Okay, so I want to add some stuff to this. Just some general dirt there. So it's this one, add drips. Let's add drips to the tires and splotches and stuff. Should be, yeah, it is. Let's work on the tires a bit then. So Jen says jump nodes now ignores dot nodes, and it's generally good now. Yeah, I just loaded it before the stream here, so I haven't really got any chance to see what was new. But okay, so let's take this painting here now. Here we go. Maybe the Terra brush. Let's try that in conjunction with this. And let's go bigger here. Can probably go 2K here now. My Mori is slow now. Let's see. I wonder if I have to restart this. Oh, it was auto-saving or something. What was going on here now? Let's see. It should be fast. So, let's see. Might be pushing some limits here. Let's take a look here if I have to do some house cleaning here. I could bake this one. Just gonna do a quick bake here to cache anything downstream of that node. So yeah, I wish the bake point was a little faster than it is, but it's flexible. But yeah, I did some tests recently where I timed the bake point versus the bake to paint node if I would right click and bake something, and it can be a huge difference. So I hope Foundry take a look at that soon. This one should be fairly quick because I baked this in 2K. It's for the purpose of this demo. So yeah, but I think the MIP map generation and stuff like that is not really done on a regular bake node. So let's see. So now we see here the bake pointer is green, and now it's super fast again. So yeah, can be worse to when you start to get a more complex asset, if you're not working on a part of the chain. Like here, you can just stick a bake point somewhere downstream on where you are and just bake it down temporarily, or you can have it there because maybe you're happy with this and you just add stuff on top, and that's so yeah. Just gonna go around here and add some stuff here and there. Let's actually take the scuff brush. actually go around the side here first. Take this one. Let's see, what else do we have? We'll have something. Yeah, maybe this one. So I will probably just go around here quite quickly, and then I will take another pass of to scratch this down a bit as well. Yeah, just want some coverage here, so I have something that just gives some kind of chaos before I start to ship away stuff or add stuff to this. So I could use this with some kind of tileable as well. But yeah. I will probably take a tileable to take away from this. So it has breakup. So they are not like perfect, they've been scratched, the actual splotches and drips and drops can go with like the inverse of the actual mask. I added stuff to invert it and use that as the base, and maybe level it with some kind of cloud or something as well to have a different breakup. And I need some kind of, I guess, a really sharp occlusion to get into the corners. Or I could just take this one and go here and add stuff, but that's too long, so I will do that procedurally instead. But first off, I'm just gonna add some more chaos to this. Let's see, maybe some stuff around the rims here as well. So I'm just gonna go around here, and then in a short bit I will have another. I'm gonna have a Q&A. So we have had a few questions since last time, so I have prepared some. So if you see this on the rerun and you wanna ask stuff, you can add to the comments in the YouTube page. Because yeah, if I see this after the live stream is over, I will try to add any questions into the next episode. So we have a few today. It's gonna come up soon. It's gonna go around, do some stuff here. I guess the inside of the rim here needs some love as well. It's not gonna be seen that much, but I guess you can see it from an angle. Now I have this strange thing going on again with my paint through tool that I get sometimes. It's kind of haunting me, this. I can't rotate or do anything to my paint. Oh! I can scale it, but I can't rotate it as usual. So I have to rotate my canvas now. I can't bother to let's see, can I go in and out perspective? Does that do something? It still locks it down. I'm kind of cursed on this. I rotate the canvas instead, temporarily. So that's Control R to rotate. It's very strange. I can't shift. Oh. Is it? No, it's not caps lock. I have to restart Mari now because it makes it hard to work. Once again, let's go. Thunderbirds are go. So we should be back now. Yeah. Okay. Annoying, but should work. And I can rotate. It's so strange that it just doesn't work sometimes. Let's see, where were I? Let's go back here. Yeah. So yeah, I was gonna copy now this over very quickly here to the other tires. And see what happens. Let's go to UV. So it's this. Copy. So again, this is my troubled asset. Something with selection of patches again, because I started this in from an old version. So selection patches is super slow. Yeah, I can select multiple patches. It's just so slow. Paste, yes. And now I need to paste this one as well to those two. Copy, take this one. Come on. I have to try and get around this because it's annoying. I'm used to like instant selection on other assets, so something strange going on with this one. But yeah, so let's see, now we have something over there. So I was thinking I wanna start to hook up some kind of oil material in my dirt. So let's do that. So I was thinking maybe like oil around here. Let's say that this is a rotating piece. There has some kind of lubrication. This one, like oil around there. Oil going there as well to this one. Maybe oil splotching out as well from there. So I definitely need another material, but I'm gonna do it in the dirt as another type of dirt. but it needs another another spec value and another IOR value in the end. So let's start to hook up something for that. So it's gonna be driven by a mask. Add oil. So again, here I'm just gonna make a black and white. Screen this. And I wanna make it transmitter. Let's name this to oil mask. So in my material here now, so yeah, my actual material for the dirt is very basic at the moment, so that's something, but let's just add my oil here to all of those. So I can do this a little more scientific, but there is a bake point. So in the chat, you could use gradient map node, just remap mask values on the dirt. Yeah, that's something I will do as well. That's a good idea. But yeah, so I'm gonna do some breakup on the dirt mask, and on the color I'm gonna use that technique, and I also want to make differences between different type of specular breakup, for example. And so let's say here for this one, like the bump just had that, and that was that really cheap and nasty one that I made the last time. So that's something I'm going to work on. So yeah, so now let's add my mask here, but I'm definitely gonna do that as well, the gradient map. It's similar to Renderman has a node. You can randomize HSV values with the object ID, and that's kind of a cool way to add randomness. It's okay. So connect to transmitter. I want the oil mask. Just gonna hook it up to my places here. Okay, so now we just need a, for example here, let's start just with a albedo value. So first off, let's go and just add some value here. Let's say that I want to add oil here. In the mask, so we have something to dev with. Okay, so we have something there. Now I can start to hook up my material here. So for the albedo, let's just take a constant color here now as a dummy. So it's obvious it's gonna be something dark with a little blue in it, maybe. And this one was the face color. So it's definitely gonna be, if I would dev this properly, I would probably make a shader in Renderman and take the, but I do something fairly on the fly here. So the face color is going to be more than, it's going to be more reflected than dirt. So let's start off with this. Let's say that it's, yeah, so that's more reflective in the facing ratio. Facing forward, and the edge is gonna be even more. And this is one is the roughness. This one is going to be lower because it's more shiny and it's not as rough. So let's take, something that's, let's do this at the moment and bump. Let's say it's a drop. So let's go to the shader now and take a look. And nothing happens. So this is because it's cached. Let's disable this. So Jen says the float. Yeah, I've been thinking about the float. It's a great way. I'm just used to the, before you added the float node, I just used the color to, because yeah, I can use the float for those type of values. My cat is going bananas here. So yeah, so for people that doesn't know, you can make a, oops, let's see. If I make a node here, instead of using a color node, I can make a float. And if I know a value, I can set it between 0, 1 here, or 0 and 10, or X amount of floats. So if I would need a roughness value, I can just dial it this way instead of setting a color. Okay, the AI standard again. So now I have the setup there for my my oil. So I guess I can just start to paint the oil mask essentially. So it's gonna be the dirt mask. Go to my oil place here. Just name this something clever. Oops, backdrop, not bookmark. Ah, I'm writing the wrong one. Too trigger happy. Book backdrop. Oil. Here we go. Here we have oil going. So my cat wants to go out. Hold on. Yeah, back. So Cleo needed to go out, so let's go back to this. So I want to add, I guess, oil to this one around there, and do we have some nice smear? Just add some here, like a it's first pass. I can always go back and just change this. Let's take this, the fuzzy. I guess it's gonna be oil around these places as well. So let's see what we have. Do we have something else? Some splotches going on here and there, just around here. So it was a leakage or something. Let's do that. So I could later on also make an iridescent map. So I have a map that defines where it's gonna be iridescence to add some kind of oily specular breakup to this as well. So I guess maybe like around here can have some oil kind of splotches going on. Can be nice. Something like that. So it's gonna be a, I think I know what's causing. Yeah, I think I know what's causing this issue with my paint through going bonkers. Now, as soon as I hit the node graph, let's see if I take the camera, reset the camera, does it work? It's something with when I took the palette away from the node graph. So usually I have two monitors. I don't have it now, so I don't take it off and on. But yeah, now when I hit the F5, I mapped it to F5 to take away the node graph. My paint through started to behave again. Let's say that we have oil. And now I can't rotate it again. It's just annoying. So clearly I can't disable my node graph palette by because it seems to bug out my paint through by any chance. So that's kind of strange. Okay, save. So let's do this quickly now. So I have to paint with my node graph on all the time. I'm just gonna minimize it a bit. It's very strange. I have to test this in another scene, see if I can reproduce it. If that's the case, because it happened to me now, the paint through was working right until I took away the node palette that was docked. So that's annoying. So I guess if I use a very small one here to just before I use the paint through, see if that helps. So I had oil going on there. So I want to add oil to this one, for example. Okay, hope this worked now. So I'm not gonna disable my my node graph there. I'm just gonna minimize it when I don't use it. You can see here if I add some general splotches around this area. Not so much, just here and there, so it's gonna be like another type of breakup. You can see it's gonna be like shiny breakup there. I'll definitely need some here. So, but then we're gonna erase with scuff. Or actually, I think it's better with some kind of smear stuff going on here. Just a bit. very subtle. So I think Jens said something about that issue I had. Let's see what he said. Maybe more thinks it's still in the node graph. You should try to then click in the node graph and press hold control. Then yeah. Let's see if I can be daring here. So it's worth it a try. See if I so now this works. I can rotate it. Let's see if I now it rotates, scales, everything is working. Let's save this. Let's see if we can get this to malfunction. So now if I hit F5 it should take away the node graph. Ah, damn it, it's still working. I'm not sure what it is that, because the last time it stopped to work when I took away the node graph. Maybe it's some kind of other kind of condition that triggers it. So yeah, let's say that they have some, where else could it be? Some kind of leakage here. Let's say that there is an issue with the gasket here. Around these areas. And some general splotches. Maybe some small stuff there as well. Yeah. I guess it's gonna be some here as well. maybe 1 or 2 here, just for the hell of it. So it's gonna be around here as well, I guess, in the end. Some oil spill stuff going on here. Yeah, so let's see. Let's save this and let's go to Q&A for that. From the last session. So we have a few questions here. What is the correct blending mode to use when I have 2 or more black and white masks that I want to combine? So, well, I guess there is no correct blending mode. It depends on what you want to do, but in general, masks, it's good to have them clamped so you don't have illegal values with masks. You don't want to go beyond 0 and 1. So let's take a look at that. So this was from the last session. In the comments we have a few questions, so let's just take a few nodes here and merge them together. For example, if I take a cloud and I use a merge, so potentially I could tell this color A here to be beyond 1. For example, I could say that it's gonna be 2 in intensity. So that can be really bad for masks. You don't want masks to be over 1 generally, if it's not contributing to some kind of displacement, and you want to have ranges over 1. So if I will merge this now with something else, wood. So this one goes from 0 to 1. Let's take a big wood pattern. And say that I want to multiply this together. And let's take a look at the values here. So we can see that it's above 1, and this is gonna be bad. So what you can do, you can well, generally I try to use legal values everywhere, and we can see your screen. Okay, yeah, that's a good one. Let's go back. Yeah, so let's go back to this. So I made a cloud and I added into the white value, I added 2 here on the intensity. So generally, as I said, masks should be between 0 and 1, because otherwise your render is gonna like behave strangely usually. And my wood here is just between 0 and 1, and I merge it. So So I have a multiply, so it's gonna multiply it down. So the value here now is gonna be something like 1.342. So you might not see this if you have like float values. And so usually it's good to clamp masks. If I now look at the clamp node, it should be 1 there. And it is. But the blending mode, that's up to what you want to do, I guess. So if you have a screen, for example, it's gonna be it's gonna not go like 0 to 1 when you do that operation. If you add stuff, you can start to get more intensity out when you have a few nodes going. Let's take axis projection, for example, and take a some image here, and let's copy and paste this. Let's merge them. If I now hit add, you see it's gonna add the two values together. And now, as this is a float, this might probably be even over 1. Yeah, it's gonna be 2.7. So this is something that's kind of bad as a mask. But if you now, instead of hitting add, would say screen here, it's gonna, the max value is gonna be not gonna go over 1 anywhere. So if you now would multiply this, let's see what value we can get here. It's gonna be 0. So this one is making it darker where there is darker values. But yeah, add can be potentially be a danger when you use it. So if you have some kind of mask, when you have done a lot of add, multiply and stuff, it might look like you want it to look like, but potentially you will have values that's over 1, and in masking purposes that's bad. So to be really sure, I usually put a clamp into my masks in the end before I export, so I know that I don't have any values above 1. So let's see now, 1 there. So okay, so what was the second question? When it comes to combining different grayscale data together, say a few different axis projections. So yeah, that's, I use 99 times out of 100 add. I usually use add, multiply, screen, overlay. That's kind of sometimes I use difference and stuff like that if I make strange things. For example, let's take an example here on an effect I can do with difference. For example, if I make a paint node, make it white. Let's say I paint something soft. I want to make some strange organic breakup, for example. Let's say I paint something soft here. with the dark. Oops. I want to make some kind of invert strange mask. So let's take this mask, for example. Let's merge it with itself. Well, first off, I want to do a brightness lookup. Merge it with itself and say difference. And now when I start to do stuff to this curve here, I can get really funky kind of strange maskings. So now if I paint this, I can start to get almost like some kind of alien pattern going. So difference is something that I might use sometimes as well. But yeah, there's not really no guide, I just try them. But in the end, when it comes to masks, again, let's take this browser source. So what I did, I took my a soft masks, merged it with difference, shift the curve of this. So now when I paint, it's gonna be some kind of organic breakup. And the curve of this is, and it's just a difference of the two. So yeah, that's, but yeah, I guess to me, add, multiply, overlay is one of my go-to blending modes for my masks, especially when I do like bump or stuff. So the third one, in mode, I don't really understand what we are asking here. I'm not sure if you wanna the question here, but we're talking about values. Okay, so how to make a value range between 20 and 40%. So I would use a set range node for that, actually. Is it named like that? Set range. So let's imagine that I have this. Let's take this away. Let's say that you want to remap this to between 30 and 40. So you have the input image here. So you can paint stuff between 0 and 1. And you go to the set range node, and you have the old minimax is 0 to 1. And then you can say that, okay, I want values between point, oops. 0.3 and 0.4. So now it has remapped my this value to this value. So that's something you can do if you want to have, if you have a broad range that you want to crunch into something narrower like this. So you can let's say that you want to add something on top of this, like some kind of noise. And let's multiply this together. Now in the set range nodes, these values gonna be very uniform. So that's a way to crunch stuff. And you said you had a value. Let's go back and see the other range. Or 5 to 10. So yeah, then I would just go to my set range node and say 05 and 010. So if I disable now the color lookup, this is the scalar value. So if I now put my, let's see what value I have here, 0.005 something. So yeah, but it has to be the pure black value, so you have to have values that is. But if you have another range, you can, let's see, you can actually see what colors you have here. If I now pick this, let's say that this is the darkest you have. So you can, in the remap node, also set range 0.06 to 8 something. Let's see what it does. So yeah, the set range is something I use if I want to do something like that, to crunch stuff together to certain ranges. Yeah, I hope that makes a little sense. I'm not sure if it was that entirely that was asking for, but that's how I interpret. So yeah, let's go back a little while here and finish off my my dirt stuff. Let's take away this crap here. So let's go to my dirt mask. I was adding some, let's see, some oil there. Yeah, just gonna do a little more of this, and then I guess it's gonna be end for today. It's been around 2 hours now, so I guess that's gonna be the breakup point for today. So if you have additional questions, now is the time. Just gonna paint away some more here. And again, Wednesday is going to be the next session for this asset. And as usual, Wednesdays is around 1 hour. And I guess Sundays around 2 hours. So I'm gonna try and see if I can debug this and see if I can get the speed up again with this asset, because it's a little annoying that I have this trouble to deselect stuff. Let's see. Yeah, I'm just gonna add some more splotches here, just the last thing I do here for today. So Jens was saying maybe try to export with sessions. Yeah, I have to try it. I've been afraid to use sessions actually. So, but yeah, I definitely have to take a look at sessions, because it would be nice to get this asset to work better. I might pick you up on some things of that, Jens, because I haven't really used sessions. So yeah, that's a good idea. Just add some here. I guess can add stuff here as well. Yes, go some. So I didn't touch this side, I just want some extra here as well. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna take a look at sessions and see if I can get this over to a cleaner state when it comes to the selection, because it's kind of starting to annoy me now, where I'm not really using my workflow because selecting stuff is too slow. I'm used to isolate stuff like on and off, like constantly switching just parts. So I don't really do that now because it just takes too long. And it's a shame. Let's see here with some shading. Let's go into my material and see. So dirt. Didn't I do a bookmark for that? What did I call it? Need to remember. Rubber material. That's totally wrong. It's gonna be dirt material. So let's take the face. Just to crank this. Maybe it's a bit too much. I guess when I visualize it now, we'll see where we give some glints there of specular. Take a look here as well. Yeah, it's too much, but then again it's something I can just tweak with this value here. So yeah, that's kind of it I think for today. Let's get this back, save it, and yeah, thanks for today, and it's gonna be this. Yeah, thanks for hanging out with me today, and thanks for all the feedback in the chat for today. So yeah, if you see this for the first time, this is Meshmen Studio and the Mari channel's live stream for the Mari texturing in the node graph. And you know what to do. You can subscribe to my channel and hit the bell notification, and you will get notified whenever I go live the next time. So yeah, this is me signing out, and yeah, stay frosty and happy painting.